defenses that I personally chose out of over 100, maybe 150. And I believe these are relevant to psychiatric evaluations. Please don't look at this. Or if I remember my Latin syllabi. Now, again, I'm not going to focus right now, because we'd be here for hours, and I'll bore you to death, about the defenses between all of you inside of all of you. Now, I'm not going to do that, although I certainly alluded to it. I'm going to focus now on the applicant, okay? So, these defenses will indirectly impact essentially all of your opinions, but I put there what I thought was most important: diagnosis, credibility, disability, and recommendations. Now, it's not insignificant that when one is deposed hundreds of times, you get a real sense of where attorneys draw the battle lines. Also, when you don't get deposed, you know areas in which attorneys won't take you on. And I believe the defenses of the applicant do affect what happens and what is attacked and what is left free. So, I think it's inevitable that when you spend hours, you the evaluator, with the applicant, whether it's 1 hour, 2, 3, 4, 5, sometimes 6, invariably there's going to be clinical judgment is, from my perspective, assessing the words and the music of what you hear, what you see, what you experience in front of you, whether it's a treatment patient, a treatment case, or in this instance, clearly an evaluation. It affects also the sense of credibility. That uneasiness you might feel inside, consciously, unconsciously, a little bit of both, might be indicative that perhaps this applicant, something here that doesn't quite fit. And that has to, and it should affect ultimately your opinions. And there are some objective ways to assess credibility. Certainly psychological testing provides a lot of windows of data that are helpful in terms of credibility, but that's not going to help you during the interview. There's also, because of the way the applicant and the evaluator interact, there's a margin of error. Again, what is margin of error? Well, it means it could be 100% right, 0% right, or most likely somewhere in between. It's a spectrum. I like to believe when we do it right, when we have enough information, when we're introspective enough with all our data, when we fairly put together and assess our database to come to opinions, that we're more to the positive 100% end of that objectivity. I don't think one can ever be 100% objective. We can't. I basically said it today, but we can asymptotically approach it. And then there's the idea of ambiguity, clinical ambiguity. Now, an orthopedist doesn't really have to deal with it, but we do. And it's a challenge. And every evaluator has their own idiosyncratic mode of dealing with ambiguity. And of course, it's even more challenged when we have the impaired historian, whether it's volitional and outright malingering, I don't know, I'm not sure, or on the other end. And then for us as clinicians, there's no place in a report, it's not accepted by attorneys and judges, but there are sometimes we have to say those 3 words or those 4 words. I don't know, I'm not sure, I need more information. Now, on the interview, how you present is so important, because because right out of the gate, it's going to impact the applicant. If you're judgmental, it's going to create some tension. If you promote a sense of urgency to finish the evaluation instead of timelessness, you're going to have an impact upon the evaluator. And if you get upset, angry, have body language that get angry at the interpreter, it will have an adverse impact.